Max Boltman.
Jeff, how big is it to get Dylan back? Did you expect it to be this quick?
Yeah, it's obviously we're a better team when he's in the lineup. I think it's important to find ways to win when you're missing players, and we did that. It wasn't perfect, but I thought for 2 periods we did a good job, and we hung on a little bit too much in the third. But those are learning things that we can get better at. We also have some young players in key positions that offensively and defensively that you kind of work through. But I think having, again, we're a better team when Dylan Larkin's playing on in our lineup. So it'll be good to have him back.
Thanks. Zach Colton.
So he's free and clear for tomorrow then?
Yep, he was suspended a game. He served his game, and we're ready to go.
We talk about, small sample size, but what do you like about the power play through the first couple games?
I like that we scored. I think we had a couple other good looks from the Zadina unit. I thought the Zadina unit's been better the first 2 games than the other unit. Now, one of those games Larks isn't playing, but he ultimately would like to have great competition between the 2 units and have both of them scoring. I think they have an understanding of what Alex wants them to do, which is pretty simple. Quick puck movement, take what's given, be ready to attack. So we'll see. We got to keep getting better at it, and it's going to be a big piece of success. I think I gave our guys the stat before the year. I think in the last 5 years, if the team won the specialty teams battle, 76% of the time you win the hockey game. Well, that's a huge percentage. So let's find ways to make sure we're winning that specialty teams battle.
It really is almost just like a mindset or something. Just move the puck quicker.
Yeah, the move. It's understanding to take what's given and not to. There's times where you can make seam plays and they're really important, but you can't force those plays if you haven't broke the other team down at all. And once you break them down, then you make those plays. And I think at times when it's not going well, you're trying to force things to try to make it happen. So let's take what's given and let's attack when we can attack.
Thanks.
Yep.
Helene St. James.
Jeff, what overall have you liked about your team in the first couple of games?
Well, I've liked our compete and our energy level. I think both opponents have said it's felt like a playoff game. I think that's great. That means at the end, it means that there's a lot of fight. Again, not literally, but there's a lot of fight on the ice. And that they're hard games and they're physical and ultimately. I think everybody seems to ramp it up from a physicality standpoint, from an intensity standpoint in the playoffs. Well, we can't afford to wait. We have to play every game like it's like that. And I think if you do that, you can separate yourself over the course of 82 games. So I've liked those 2 things for sure. I think there's areas that we're improving at structurally and areas we're going to keep getting better. But those would be 2 things I like.
And Mark Stahl?
I don't have an answer on Mark. He's going through some evaluation today, right now I'm not even sure what to put him at for tomorrow. He could be totally fine and be ready to play, or we could come back tomorrow and be out. So we'll see.
And Sarkhan.
Yeah, Jeff, just one more on the power play. I know depth doesn't necessarily equate to success, but do you feel you have more depth this year? It seems like you got more people that are capable of being on the unit this year. Like, for example, like today, I don't think Suter practiced on the unit, and he's a guy that I'm sure feels could be on the power play.
Yeah, Suter and Gags, neither one of them practiced, and they're both guys that are certainly going to spend some time on our power play. So they're, what depth can do is create competitiveness, and competitiveness matters. Making sure that you can't take your spot for granted. And Suits will definitely spend time on the power play, and Gags will as well. So certain games we might say we're going with different guys than other games until somebody really separates themselves that they're going to be a great power play player, and that's ultimately what we're looking for, is as many great power play players as we can get.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Kevin Allen.
Yeah, Jeff, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the offense. Obviously last year the team struggled at various times to get goals, and I know some of that was to do with Bertuzzi being gone and a number of injuries, but this season we started out with Verona going out quickly and going, hasn't been that. Just from the eye test over the first couple of games, and I know it's a small sample size, but it looks different. It feels different. It looks like the guys have more confidence. Is there something to that? Obviously, the lineup is different and everything else, but is this a good start? Can they build on this, I guess?
The answer to that is yes, and confidence matters, in my opinion. It matters a lot, and so I think, again, as you said, they're 2 games, so it's an extremely small sample size. But the fact that we have been able to score enough in those 2 games that you should enough to be able to win hockey games, creating some chances. I think Zadina is a guy who looks more and more confident on the ice out there, and that's an important guy for us. I think Ras is more and more confident on the ice, and that's an important guy for us. I think Fabs really looks like he's taken a step, and then guy like Suter comes in and looks like he can add some offense as well, and that's not to talk about Larks or Bertuzzi. And, ultimately, Adam Ernie had a good year for us. Vladdy has more goal scoring in him. So we need that depth of scoring for sure. We need to score different ways, and we need to win hockey games in different ways. So I think it appears like we have an opportunity to have more depth of guys scoring. Certainly Verana's a big loss offensively, but as I said earlier, at least that's a definitive loss, and guys can go out and make their own way. And ultimately, a big piece of offense would be success in the power play. We're going to have to be good in that area.
And if I could follow up, just with regard to, I looked at the statistics this morning, and I saw that, 64% of the time last year, you guys couldn't get 3 goals. Is that 3-goal marker something that, you talk about, that you try to get there, that, if you get 3 goals in a game, you obviously have a decent chance of winning?
Yeah, I would say we don't necessarily use that as a barrier, like a number to say, okay, we need to get to 3. It obviously matters. I think throughout the league it matters, but the thing you can control just as much as that is making sure that you're not giving up 3, and so I think you start by making sure we got to make sure we're great defensively, and I've said this lots. If you're great defensively, your offense will come from that. So it's a focus to make sure that we're a tight checking team on a night-to-night basis, and if we can become the best tight checking team in the league, we're going to score a lot because we'll have the puck a lot.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.
Bob Duff?
Jeff, when you sent Joe Valeno down, I'm sure you were envisioning he'd do what he's done. He's got 3 goals in his first 2 games. Was that an important part of the decision of letting him go down there and kind of to be the man where he can, play in all situations and have success and create confidence?
100%. I think it's important for guys to be at spots where they have a chance to thrive. And if he wasn't going to be in our top 6, maybe you could make an argument in the middle 6 somewhere. But if we just want to be in really important roles, so that there's going to be a time when Joe plays for us this year, I would bet on that. And then when that happens, we want to make sure Joe's feeling really confident and that he's playing at a really, really high level and continue to develop the offense. I don't know what Joe's offensive ceiling is. I know he can be a really good third-line player. I know that. I really believe that. But can he be more than that? Well, we're hoping so. And he's hoping so. He wants to be. Well, to do that, you got to point. And you got to produce. And you got to be in those offensive situations. And I didn't have spots for him here right now. So let's have him do it in Grand Rapids.
I had an NHL coach tell me years ago that if you do that with a young player, if you put him in a lesser role to start out, and they are guys that are productive players, they can, the way he put it, they can forget how to score and be creative. Is that legit? Is that can a guy who is a talented player lose that kind of skill by not getting to use it when they're young?
I think to some degree that's true. I think you almost get programmed. I think confidence matters huge about that. If you start in the league and you're not producing and you're only in a defensive role, you might lose your confidence offensively, and it's a hard league to regain your confidence. So I think there's some truth to that, and again, I just think a lot of times the simplest way I can put it is, I think it would ask anybody this, like, do you want a player out here surviving shift to shift, or do you want them down there thriving? And to me, it's a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't you have somebody in a position to thrive?
Thanks.
Yep.